So Iris asked me to do a short talk on mindfulness and how it can help with, specifically when we were discussing it quickly, with anxiety, perhaps in relation to the current COVID pandemic, although the subject of mindfulness is obviously generic. I think I should say at this point that if Parvis was light touch, mine is not even touching the surface in comparison. So, because I'm not sure what knowledge you've all got of mindfulness, so I kind of had to pitch it as though you've got little or none. If you're practicing mindfulness already, I apologize, you might learn something, but worst case scenario, it's only 7 minutes. So as Iris said, I met her when I was working at the UEA in sustainability, which is how I've managed to wiggle my way in to talk to you guys today. So yes, that was my background. Now I'm a health and wellness practitioner or coach. I'm an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming practitioner. I'm also a PT. Generally work with women, although not exclusively, that wish to change some aspects of their health or their personal life. So that's really where I come from. So for the next 7 minutes or so, we're going to do a very quick tour of what is mindfulness, why does it matter, and how do you do it? And then if we've got some time left at the end, we can do a little bit of a practice if we want to. Ooh, good, so that's working. So what is mindfulness? Put it simply, it's the ability to see what's going on in your head without getting carried away with what it is. Hang on, I think, there we go. Yeah, without getting carried away with it. To feel the capacity to feel sensations, even painful ones, without letting them control us. Mindfulness began as a spiritual practice way back in ancient India and has migrated across millennia and continents. Every religious tradition includes elements of it in a kind of meditative practice, although today's practices don't really need to be religious in any way. You can practice mindfulness and meditation without being associated with any religion. It's very old. More recently, sort of came back and had a bit of a resurgence in the 60s and 70s with the hippies. They had a go with it, and then it was largely ignored until more recently, when it's become the buzzword for everything, including me, mindful body coach. So mindfulness is seriously everywhere. So if mindfulness is being aware of what is going on in our heads and us not getting carried away with it, what's going on in our heads that we need to be mindful of? So the average human has around 60,000 thoughts a day. 95% of them are repetitive from the previous day, and a staggering 80% are negative, which is pretty shocking. Bearing in mind that our thoughts create our perception and our perception creates our reality, controlling your thoughts largely controls your reality. So persistent negative thinking leads to stress, leads to anxiety, which can ultimately, unfortunately, lead to depression. So what can mindfulness do? Over time, it can alter the neuroplasticity of the brain, changing how our synapses fire, effectively how our thoughts connect up. So basically the long-term effects of regularly practicing mindfulness can change the way we think. There are many studies showing how practicing mindfulness can reduce stress, improve cognitive function, improve sleep, and reduce levels of anxiety, and even physically lowering blood pressure or decreasing pain. So plenty of reasons to want to practice. So how do you actually practice mindfulness? I'm going to use the words mindfulness and meditation interchangeably, as well as they're slightly different. They're based on the same principles. There are lots of types of mindfulness or mind training, formal or more informal, so you can find what best suits you. The first thing to say is it is a practice, like anything in life really worth having. You need to practice it. It should always be gentle practice in whatever form you choose to take it, so non-judgmental and kind to yourself. I've picked kind of 7 types just to roughly go over to see what, to talk about them. Hopefully my presentation is going to work here. So the first one we're just going to have a quick look at is mindful meditation. So Buddhist in origin, paying attention to one's thoughts as they pass through in a non-judgmental way. Not paying any attention to them, simply observing them as they pass through. Combines concentration and awareness. You can easily practice this by yourself, and there are lots of apps that can help you, such as Calm and Headspace. The next one is spiritual meditation, or more spiritual, which is often practiced in groups, but you can practice this by yourself. It can be, with a ritual. It can be associated with church, or, with your place of worship, and can use things like essential oils. The next is focused meditation. I quite like this. Involves concentrating on any one of the 5 senses. So what you feel, what you see, what you hear. So it can be associated, or you can think about your breathing. You can body scan. Or you can look at something as a candle, a flame on a candle, focus on that. So basically the focusing of your mind on something other than your thoughts, so a feeling or something that you're looking at. The next is possibly my favorite, which is movement meditation. Often people think of yoga, and obviously the picture is yoga here, but there are many forms of movement that can elicit meditation or mindfulness. Walking, running, swimming, anything really that you can focus on. I use swimming personally because you can focus on how your body is moving while you're moving through the water. Obviously, while you're learning to swim or learning to do yoga or learning to do something like that, you're thinking about what you're doing all the time. And so even in the learning of it, it's great for taking your mind off other things that might be buzzing around, causing you issues. So yes, that's one of my favorite. The next is mantra meditation, which uses a mantra. You can speak it, chant it loudly, quietly, silently to yourself. It can be a simple mantra, it can be a complex mantra. Often mantra meditation is used in association with yoga. So as part of your yoga practice, you have to spend some time chanting. And it gives the mind something to focus on. So it stops the thoughts sort of flying around in your mind. And then transcendental meditation, which is most scientifically studied form actually of meditation, and it uses a word that is specific to each practitioner. So basically you have to learn how to do it. You're given a word or a couple of words or a very short mantra, and you focus on that. I've practiced transcendental meditation. That's a couple of times a day. And then finally, less, I suppose, formally, is kind of being in the moment, which can be more incorporated into daily routine and used for particular times when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed. It involves just sort of taking time out, but just for a few moments, to be aware of your environments and thoughts. And so you can stop what you're thinking effectively if what you're thinking is, it is causing you issues. So how much should you do it? Well, there's an old Zen saying that says you should sit in meditation for 20 minutes a day unless you're too busy, and then you should sit for an hour. But joking aside, 5 to 10 minutes every day, and grow it from there. Maybe set yourself a goal, a simple goal, a smart one, of course, for what your aim is. Do you want to be more relaxed? Do you want to be more energized? Do you want to be less stressed? And then work on how you're going to get there over the next, 3 to 6 months, and build some meditation into your day. And that's it really. So yeah, end of a quick whistle-stop tour of mindfulness / meditation. So really, yes, open to discussion. I can't see everyone. Shall I unshare the screen?
Yes, please, Jackie. Well,